So I think some of the noise and din you hear out of Pakistan, when you hear the political turf battles going on, I don't consider that to be something unhealthy. I think it's something very good. And I think it's part of the political development of Pakistan, because when we come to major issues, like the war on terror, like the NFC, like the 18th Amendment, and so on, all the parties, considering that they had once were at a stage of confrontation with each other, they all get together and they all support the country in terms of its national interests. So this, for me, is one of the important developments I see in Pakistan today. And as far as the United States is concerned, the United States, number one, wants regional stability in the area. They don't want any criminal state of Taliban's being created in that area. They don't want a state which gives protection to people who are being trained and armed to attack other countries. And neither does Pakistan. So Pakistan is in the forefront of this. They want to see Pakistan's military capacity to deal with these people. I think there again Pakistan has shown, despite its limitations of the past, because the Pakistan army in the past was never trained for this kind of war. The Pakistan army was trained to fight, to turn towards the east, to fight on the flat plains and to fight tank warfare. They were never trained to fight this kind of insurgency. In fact, very few countries, armies in the world are trained to fight this kind of insurgency. Suicide bombers, there's no SOP as to how to deal with a suicide bomber. So the Pakistan army had to create a strategy to fight against these people, and at the same time not create a blanket situation where they created more enemies than friends, or where instead of isolating the terrorists, they created hundreds and thousands more of them. In fact, for the NATO forces, Pakistan's military action in this area has been something to follow. It's been a role model, something they've learned from. The sophistication with which the Pakistan army has handled it. So what is to America's interest is obviously to see the Pakistan army and to see the able to contain and to destroy these people, which it has done. Of course, I was reading again that one of the CIA chiefs, Jim Jones, is coming to Pakistan again to urge them to attack somebody else in North Waziristan or to do this or that. Well, we shouldn't always listen to what they have to say, because we have shown that we know much better how to handle it. And if you're going to compare the way the Americans have operated, or the NATO has operated in Afghanistan, and Pakistan has operated in its tribal areas, well, I mean, it's black and white. You can see that. So I think it should be the other way around. They should be learning from what Pakistan is doing. Despite the fact that we have, 29 helicopters. In America, they have a helicopter for every 150 soldiers. We have 150,000 troops fighting against the terrorists, and we have 29 helicopters. We have a ratio of 1 to 9. For every Jawan, every soldier killed, for every 10 soldiers killed, 1 officer is killed. It's the highest ratio in the world. It shows that when the battle takes place, it's the spirit of the army. They jump off first. The first boots to hit the ground is either the brigadier or the captain or the major. It's not the Jawan that goes forward, which is why you've got this result. And we've had more Pakistani troops dying in this war on terror than NATO troops have died. We've had over 3,000 Pakistani soldiers killed and thousands of Pakistani civilians attacked by them. So when people try and say that Pakistan is an epicenter of terrorism, I feel that that is an insult to what we have achieved and the way we have faced these people and the courage we have shown and the sacrifices we have made. I was reading an article in the Newsweek just now, yesterday, by Fareed Zakaria, who was talking about how Pakistan was this epicenter of terrorism. Well, I'm sorry if it was something in the past that may have happened. There was a lot that took place, but during this democratic government, I think anything that is to do with terrorism is one of the prime objectives of this government, to destroy it and to finish it. What also America's strategic interests and what, as far as what they see, they would like to see an economic growth in Pakistan. They would like to see Pakistan being a strong country economically for many reasons, their own selfish reasons also. Everybody has selfish reasons. They want to trade, they want to invest, they want the Pakistan economy to grow. And I look at the fact that we have We have 100 million people in Pakistan under the age of 25. We are the sixth largest country in the world. We are not I find another area which irritates me is when I hear of this word AFPAC, because we are not Afghanistan. Pakistan comes from a very civilized society from the Indus, 5,000 years old. We have culture, music, poetry. We have history and traditions going back thousands of years. And we are not a primitive tribal society. We are an independent nuclear power. We manufacture tanks, planes, missiles, factories. We exported the largest sugar mill in the world to Brazil about a year ago. We have Pakistani doctors, scientists, mathematicians all over the world, software engineers in our country. I mean, we have a rich middle class of human resources, which is a diaspora where there are over 1 million Pakistanis in the United Kingdom alone of Pakistani origin. So to make this AFPAC comparison, I think it also disturbs the mindset of the Americans when they come in this area. And it disturbs the mindset of people who are looking at this area, because they somehow assume that we are like Afghanistan. There's nothing wrong as far as I think whatever Afghanistan is or isn't. But, if if I made America and Mexico and called it Amex, I don't know who would be more offended, the Mexicans or the Americans. Mexicans, because they have a much older history, of course. So this kind of, simplistic business of AFPAC, I find it to be absolutely ridiculous, And I find that when I come here and when I meet Americans, they come and they've been to Kabul and they've come to Pakistan. I said, you might as well have gone to Peking and come to Pakistan. I mean, what is the connection? The only thing is we have porous borders with Afghanistan. And so so that area, there are Pakhtuns on one side of the border and Pakhtuns on the other side of the border. So our job is to contain them and keep them that side. But that doesn't, on the other hand, we have an issue. Because Afghanistan being where it is and the history of Afghanistan, we do have a vested interest in the stability of Afghanistan. We don't want to see Afghanistan being used as an area to either destabilize Pakistan. And Afghanistan has had a history in the past of being anti-Pakistan for many reasons. I don't want to go into it. It doesn't mean that it stays like this. Things have changed a lot. But even when Pakistan was formed, the one country to oppose the formation of Pakistan was Afghanistan. So we've had a history, and we don't want to see that country being used as a jumping off stage and to be used to destabilize Pakistan. So when we do show an interest in Afghanistan, I think it's for the United States to understand that we are as concerned with having a stable Afghanistan as they are. And so as far as Pakistan's economic position is concerned, we went through a huge crisis. We went through an overhang from the past. We had a democratic government come in when there was a financial burnout all over the world, when no funds were available, when everything was being pulled back financially. No Pakistani bank went down. No Pakistani bank collapsed. No Pakistani depositor lost his money. In fact, we can give a lesson to Lehman Brothers and other American corporations for how to manage their finances. So we have a strong corporate finance system. We have a state bank regulation. We have strong capital markets. We have English as a language of government. We have a country where we have dealt with the whole world. We have dealt with international corporations, international funds, and we know how to deal with the rest of the world. We've had international finance and investment in Pakistan going on for the last 60 years. No foreign investor has been nationalized in Pakistan.